Hey everybody, a quick live. I wanted to comment on the controversial JD Vance and Erika hug. They embrace, if you haven't seen the video, I mean, you can go watch a video of the hug. It's a very warm, loving hug where she places her hand on his head and they embrace. There's some really good behavioral analysis of it if you'd like to see that. But the controversy was the intimacy of the hug indicated that they're engaged in an affair. So I kind of wanted to comment on this because right now we're looking at excessive deaths in the US population of people between the ages of like 25 and 45 or something like that. So a major contributor to those excess deaths, they think, is loneliness, disconnection. And we know right now in American social health spaces that disconnection is at the root of addiction. Disconnection is at the root of all kinds of negative mental health outcomes. So looking at, and so what does that hug have to do with it? I think Americans are losing touch with what it means to love. And I don't mean the possessive type of love that you receive, that you experience in a relationship. Just pure positive emotion toward another person. Gratitude. Just looking at a person and saying, my God, you are a spectacular human being that fills me with joy. You can have that in a platonic capacity. And I look at when we have a group of people who take this embrace and they sexualize it, that says more about your own personal trauma and your own ability to connect with people than it does about those two strangers that we don't know. I think we need to be really careful reading into affection as nefariousness. It's kind of sick. So when I think of love, I think we have two different types of love, not platonic and or familial and intimate, like we've been taught. There's the love you have for someone because of who they are. You have no relationship to them, but you can look at this person and you can just say, everything about you makes me feel joy. Like you just inspire me to feel joy. Then there's the type of love that someone makes you feel for yourself. So, oh my God, I love the way you make me feel. You make me feel like the most important person in the room. So there's two components. You need both of those to be in love, right? Like if you are only receiving like, wow, I really love how you make me feel, but you don't really impress me as a person, that's from my perspective, not being in love. And if you love someone for who they are and you think, oh my God, you're such an amazing human being, but you don't make me feel special, that's not being in love either. And from my perspective, if you think you're in love, but you're missing some component of that, you may have an attachment, not a love. So that's kind of the idea for being in romantic love. But what about the love that we have for our best friends, for people who have literally been there for us in our darkest moment and saved us from ourselves? Like the type of love that you develop for someone when they have seen you at your worst and fully accepted you, embraced you, and healed you. That builds a kind of love that is so incredibly powerful, but I don't think people are experiencing on a consistent basis. Like, I think there may be a huge population of American people who don't even know what that type of love is. So when they see Erika and JD embrace in this way, this loving way, that level of love is so foreign to them that their mind immediately goes to the perverse. Like, can we step back and see how toxic that is? And so what I saw when I looked at it was a woman who is has experienced a loss that I can't even, like, that is my worst nightmare. Like, I cannot even begin to wrap my mind around the depth of her grief and sorrow. And then you have this man, JD, and I'm guessing his wife too, who have probably stepped up behind the scenes and offered enormous emotional support for Erika. Like, they've helped her. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes where relationships have been built up and they are continuing this organization. Charlie gets to live on through these people who are helping build up his organization that he left behind. So I could imagine in Erika's shoes, he's the vice president of the United States, who has also probably been wildly supportive of her. His wife has probably held Erika while she cried the most sorrowful tears of her life. I would imagine that she has a love for these people that is like fills your heart up. So I saw her embrace him and put her hand on his head like a mother does when she's holding her precious child. Well, I saw a mom hug. And so I was so shocked that people would see that, what I viewed as like a mom hug, of a loving embrace. An embrace from what I saw coming from a place of gratitude for what I'm guessing JD has done to preserve Charlie's legacy. And I saw that affection in that embrace. And so when I read, and I watched a behavioral analyst break down the hug, it was really interesting, but I would have never even looked at that and saw anything potentially nefarious. And so it makes me look at what we see in America as a quote unquote loneliness crisis. And I connect the dots, because people who are in the middle of a loneliness crisis where they're struggling to connect with other people, they're struggling to experience that level of intense love. Of course, they're going to look at that love unfamiliar, something that they don't think is available to them in a platonic context, and they're going to associate it with impropriety. And so that's all I got to say on this. I just think that we maybe need to be a little bit more generous with affection. Like, it's normal to love people. It's probably not normal to try to tear people down that you don't know at all. You don't know anything about them, you don't know anything about their personal life, and you assume the absolute worst. That's probably not a healthy place to have your mind in. And so just an idea that we can, to the people in your life that you care about, and by no means am I saying go, spread your affection around to strangers. I believe in boundaries in relationships, but the people that you have in your life that you love, tell them. Like, literally, be affectionate, give hugs, and for people who are not touchy-feely, work through that stuff, man, because hugging actually like produces our feel-good hormones. So some of us have, we've had negative experiences with being touched, and so we pull back from that. It is to our own detriment. So work with a professional, push through it, like hug each other, tell each other that you love each other, like look people in the eyes when they're talking to you, like, and I'm not even the best with empathy or compassion, like, but I think these little things that we do to connect with each other are super, super, super important. And when we lose that connection, we lose some kind of, I don't know, like, purity isn't the right word, innocence. We lose our innocence. So that's all I got. Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious to see how other people viewed this particular, hug, and what other people thought about it. So, tell me what you think. I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye. Take care.